All right, let's jump right in. Have you ever had one of those brilliant, lightning in a bottle ideas? A dream you were so passionate about, but for some reason you just never got started? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. It's one of the most common human struggles. And today, we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to finally beat it, all thanks to the incredible insights from Stephen Pressfield's book, Do the Work. I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? That book you've always wanted to write, the business you mapped out on a napkin, that fitness goal you are absolutely going to crush. We tell ourselves things like, oh, I'll start when I'm really ready, or I just need to think it through a bit more. But let's be honest, that thinking can keep us stuck for months, even years. So what's really going on there? Well, Stephen Pressfield argues that we're all fighting the exact same enemy. And it's not a lack of time or talent or resources, it's this invisible internal force. He gives it a name, and you're going to want to remember this one: resistance. This is the villain of our story. So what is resistance really? It's that knot in your stomach before you make a big decision. It's that sudden, overwhelming urge to clean your entire house when you're supposed to be working. It's that little voice in your head that says you're not good enough. Resistance shows up as fear, doubt, procrastination, and, get this, even perfectionism anytime you try to do something meaningful. This is the perfect example of resistance in the wild. We've all been there, right? This is it. I'm starting my diet on Monday. But then Monday rolls around and suddenly it's, well, maybe next Monday. That isn't just you being lazy. That's resistance winning another round. So how do we actually fight back against this thing? According to Pressfield, it all comes down to a fundamental shift in your mindset. You have to consciously decide to stop thinking like an amateur and start thinking like a professional. Just look at the difference here. The amateur is waiting for that perfect moment, for the muse to strike. But the pro knows that inspiration is a flaky friend. A professional writer doesn't wait until they feel like writing. They sit down at 9 a.m. every single day because their routine is what matters, not their mood. Being a pro has nothing to do with a paycheck. It's all about how you show up. Okay, so we know the enemy and we've got the mindset. Now let's get practical. The book gives us a whole arsenal of weapons we can use in our daily battle against resistance. These 3 steps are your game plan. Pressfield tells this great story about a farmer who took a 3-day break because of some rain. When he went back to his fields, they were completely overgrown with weeds. The lesson? Momentum is everything. Once you get started, doing even a little bit each day keeps those weeds at bay. The moment you break that chain, you're basically starting from scratch all over again. This is so important. Planning feels good, right? It feels like you're working, but it can easily become just another form of resistance. There's a story about a kid who made these beautiful, detailed to-do lists every single day. The problem was, by the end of the day, the only thing he'd accomplished was making a list. Action, even messy, imperfect action, is what actually gets results. And this leads us to one of resistance's sneakiest disguises: fake productivity. You know what I'm talking about. It's when you spend 3 hours tweaking the font on a presentation instead of actually working on the content. You feel totally exhausted and busy, but you haven't made any real progress on what matters. Resistance loves this because it keeps you from doing the real, hard work. All right, now we need to talk about resistance's number 1 weapon: fear. But Pressfield has a totally different take on this. He says fear isn't a stop sign. It's actually a compass. Do any of these sound familiar? What will people think? What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail? These little whispers are just resistance trying to keep you safe and small, right in your comfort zone. Hearing them is totally normal. The secret is to hear them and then do the work anyway. This idea is a game changer. Pressfield tells a story about a young woman who was terrified to take over her family's shop. She was so worried about failing, but her teacher told her something amazing. The louder that voice of fear is, the more you can be sure that you are on the right path. That fear was a sign that this goal really, truly mattered to her. So after all the strategies, all the analysis, all the mindsets, it all boils down to one simple, powerful, and totally unavoidable command. This is the heart and soul of the whole philosophy. First things first, stop overthinking. It's paralysis. There's a great little story about a speaker who rehearsed his talk 50 times, analyzing every single word. But when he finally got on stage, his mind just went blank. He was so trapped in the thinking that he completely forgot how to just do. Just start. Right now. Not when you get a better camera, or when you have the perfect business plan, or when you finally feel ready. Start with what you've got from where you are. The real magic isn't in being perfectly prepared. The magic is in getting into motion. Not tomorrow, not next week, not on Monday. Do it today. Resistance loses all of its power when you hit it with immediate action. The most professional thing you can possibly do is to show up and do the work, especially on the days you really don't feel like it. And here it is, maybe the biggest takeaway of all. We think we need to have everything figured out before we start, but it's actually the complete opposite. You don't get clarity by thinking more. You get clarity by doing. You figure out the path by starting to walk, not by staring at the map forever. Look, resistance is always going to be there. It never fully goes away. You just get stronger at fighting it. Every single day, your own mind is going to throw doubt and fear and a million excuses at you. But now you know its name, and you have the weapons to fight back. So what's that dream you've been putting off? What's the one small, messy, imperfect action you can take right now, today?